Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video here on What's Wildlife. And today guys, we have our first real episode, if you want to call it that, on the channel. And it's not one of those introductory videos like the first two were. This is actually a video where we're going to get out some real content of, some real footage of either, like I've said in the intro videos, wildlife, outdoor activities, stuff like that. So today is that first video. And as you can see by the title and thumbnail of this video, today we are going to be looking at some white-tailed deer up close. We are going to get some really cool footage of them back here in the back of this field. We're going to go down first and we're going to build a shelter this evening, sort of like a hide or a hunting blind out of sticks, just to kind of be able to hide myself in and shoot the deer with a camera, not a gun, obviously, like a real hunting blind. But we're going to go ahead and go down here and build that first, so that I can hide inside there and get some really good pictures and footage of some white-tailed deer. Hopefully we'll be able to see some fawns. Not exactly sure. This is around the time that they're going to be born, but we'll just have to wait and see what we go down there and see. Maybe we'll get to see some fawns, maybe not. Either way, I can guarantee that we're going to get to see some deer on this property, which is pretty cool. So like I said, we're going to start out this video by going down here and building up this shelter, and then I'll come down here a little later tonight and wait a couple hours and see if we get to see any deer. So let's begin by going down over the hill and building up this little shelter. Alright guys, so this is the shelter that was built by someone, left here. It used to be all covered up. This is just the remains of it. The major logs that hold it together are still here. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing is using some different logs and stuff from around here, stacking them up on this to sort of build out somewhere where I can hide inside of, and any wildlife that comes by won't be able to tell the difference, won't be able to tell that I'm here. And I'm going to leave little holes inside of the shelter where I can actually stick the camera out and film, because we often have deer in this field that's behind the camera that cross back through here, so I should be able to get some really cool footage of deer and maybe some other wildlife that passes through this area too. But first things first, we're going to build this today, and then I'm going to come back this evening and tomorrow morning to actually look for wildlife, because that's when deer and everything else are most active in this area. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to jump into a time lapse with me building up this little shelter. Alright guys, so this is the finished hide, and as you can see here, I've done a couple of different things, left gaps in a couple of different places for certain reasons. For one, as you can see, this big gap that pretty much my hand covers right there, you can see that's one big open spot. That is where the tripod will be set up with the camera lens sticking out of. So I wanted a big hole there to make sure no sticks get in the way or anything, and just wanted that big area there, so that's why I left that. Over on this side, you can see there's a couple of little holes in here. It's not totally filled in. That's also if I need to shoot this way, if they come walking by right here by this big wood pile or around the back side of the wood pile over here, so that I can shoot out of that hole, but that I still have a little bit of cover right here with these sticks. And then obviously over here, this is all opened up because this is where I will enter from, and pretty much from the deer patterns on this property, where they typically are, traveling and moving. They never come in, from this angle. It's typically they come in from up here on the hill and come across, or they're crossing the creek over there and coming around this way. So we're pretty good with having that side open. There shouldn't be an issue with that. But as you can see, the shelter itself is actually pretty open. There's a lot of big gaps in here. Obviously, like this one right here, there's tons of gaps. You can't really, if a person was sitting in there, they would not be hidden at all. You could easily see them. But the point of this was not to totally disguise me and make it look like I was invisible and not even there, but more so to make me blend in with the environment. So when I come down here in the evening and then in the morning, with some dark clothes on, whether that may be camouflage, whether it's just some blacks and grays and browns, whatever it may be, I'm going to put on some dark clothes and sit inside of this thing. If I'm totally still and have my camera and tripod totally still, then whenever the deer pass, it really shouldn't be that big of an issue that this is not totally blocked in and I'm not totally hidden, because if I'm totally still, I will pretty much just kind of blend in with this shelter if I'm wearing similar color clothing. I will just blend in and it'll look like I'm all just part of this giant blob of sticks right here. And so that is why there are so many gaps in this, and that is why I didn't just leave it as it was with, you know, like just a couple of pieces of wood spaced out here. That wasn't enough to really blend me in with this. I would obviously be standing out with the older form of the shelter where there was just a couple of big logs. With this, where it's all filled in with different sticks and stuff, this just looks like a structure here, and when I sit inside of it, I will blend in with it and can film the deer from inside of there, filming out into the field, out of the big hole there. Hopefully is the ideal shooting location. So yeah, that is why this shelter is not totally enclosed and doesn't look like a full-on like hunter's hideout, because it really doesn't need to be. As long as I'm still and I'm quiet and I blend in with the wood and stuff, it'll be totally fine. And the deer that are passing through the field back here shouldn't notice. It shouldn't be a problem. I should be able to film them entirely safely without, you know, any danger of them seeing me and recognizing that I was a human and then obviously running away. So that is the shelter, guys. We've got it completed. Pretty quick and simple, and now in just a few hours we'll be back down here for the evening to watch for deer, and then again in the morning, because that's when they're really active. It's giving for some storms tonight, and they're typically really active right before and right after storms, so probably have a pretty good shot of seeing some deer, hopefully even a fawn, a baby deer with a mother. That would be really awesome to get on camera, but we will just have to wait and see until a little later. For now, I'm going to leave this area be, and then I'll be back a little later in the day when the deer are more active. All right, guys, so here you can see I've got the chair right here. I've got my tripod set up inside of our little shelter, and the chair, probably shouldn't have brought a red chair, but overall it blends in pretty well. As you can hear, I'm whispering because I just got down here, don't want to spook any deer that are already nearby, but got the chair set up, got the tripod set up right where I want it, and now I'm just going to sit in here and wait. And this is a couple of evenings after the initial time that I actually built this shelter, and the reason for that is because the other evening after I built the shelter, I came down here just as I came over the hill. 4 deer standing there, they're looking right at me, boom boom boom, they all take off, and spooked them. They started blowing at me. There was no chance any more deer were coming that evening. It was almost dark already. I came out later than I should have, and I spooked them, and then they started to blow, so it was pretty much a lost cause at that point. Since then, it's rained every single evening, but finally we've got a bit of a break in the rain here. Finally, blue skies up there, at least for this evening, and I'm going to try to film some deer. But as you can see, here's where I've set up, and out here is the field where they will be. So hopefully be able to shoot them on this hillside, which is pretty cool. But we've got 3-4 hours left of daylight. I'm gonna sit down here this whole time and wait on deer, get some footage and some really cool shots, if possible. So that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be sitting in this shelter for the next little while, but I just wanted to go ahead and shoot this little segment and update you guys on exactly what had been going on. And yeah, so we're here for the evening. We'll come back out tomorrow morning if we don't see anything this evening. Alright guys, so for this portion of the video, I'm going to have to do some voiceover because obviously I couldn't actually talk when I was there filming the deer, or it would have spooked them and they would have taken off running, wouldn't have been able to get any good footage. But after sitting there for about an hour, out of the blue, pops out 3 deer. And the first one appears to be a mother. That's definitely an older deer, definitely in her prime, and she's followed by 2 younger deer that appear to be her babies from last year. They're not this year's fawns, but they look like 2 babies from last year, who are still with her, and she'll probably push them out and you know, set them off on their own by the end of this year. But as of right now, they are still with her and following her, and they were the first to pop out in the field. And while my shelter worked, every time the deer looked at me, they had no idea what I was. They couldn't tell at all. The sound issue with the camera did not work. From the minute that I flipped the switch on the camera, even though the deer were like 100 yards out, they heard it. They heard it immediately. They ended up taking off, and the mom began to blow. And at that point I thought, well, I'm not going to see any more deer. Got a little bit of footage. Wish I had more, and I wish that I had more pictures, but you know, this is, I guess there's nothing I can do. At least I got to see them. But then, just as I am about to turn off my camera, I look to the side, and out popped 3 more deer right behind them. And apparently these deer did not hear the other mother blowing, because this was yet another mom with 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old babies. Or I guess they're not babies by now, they're pretty much grown up, but they were still following their mother around. They popped right into the field, and so I was able to get some really good footage of them, a lot more footage of them, and some photos, which was really cool, before they ended up taking off into the woods as well. And pretty much what happened is they just got spooked by the sound of the camera. You know, whenever you hold down the button to focus it, it makes a sound. Whenever you turn it on, whenever you flip between recording and pictures, it makes a sound, and so they pretty much ended up getting spooked by that and running off. But I was able to get some really cool footage of them, and it looks as though a few of these deer are pregnant, so I'm guessing that, you know, these mothers are probably about to push these younger deer out. Regardless, it was really cool to be able to see them crossing the field in front of me, and this was definitely the best footage I got, and I got some pretty great pictures of them too, so that was really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed being able to film these deer. Obviously, you know, these aren't the most exciting animals. It's not like we're filming grizzly bears with cubs or something like that, but you know, that's for later in the channel. We're going to be out west later this summer, and we're going to get to see some really cool stuff then, possibly even grizzly bears and wolves, and get to film them, which will be amazing. But if not, you know, we're still going to see elk, bison, all kinds of animals that are a lot more difficult to find than white-tailed deer. Just for this first video, we needed to, you know, get out a video of some animals, and so I decided why not start it out simple and with something that everybody knows about and everybody has seen, and film some white-tailed deer. Now, unfortunately, we didn't see any fawns, as you can see in this video, but hopefully that will be a thing in the future if one of these mothers that is pregnant in this video has babies, because all of these deer that you see in this video frequent this field. But anyways, after I spooked all 6 of the original deer that came out, waited about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours later, and out come 3 of them again. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any footage on the actual camera, because as soon as I turned it on, they were just really spooked immediately, because they came within feet of me. Literally, they were extremely close. They popped right out next to me. But as you can see here, I was still able to get a little bit of footage on my phone. Not that great of footage, but was still able to get some of that before they got spooked and ran off. When I tried to take photos, swung the camera around, tried to take some pictures, began to press down that shutter button, and it made the little sound that it makes, and yeah, they were off. But regardless, we were still able to see these deer and get some good footage of them, which was really cool. And you know, like I said, if you don't know about white-tailed deer, you probably do know, but they're very common. You can see them pretty much anywhere in the eastern U.S. and some portions of the western U.S. They are definitely the most common deer species in the U.S. They're your pretty straightforward, typical herbivores. You know, they breed in the fall. They have a rut. The males grow antlers, horns, whatever it may be, you know, depending on the animal. If it's bison, then they have horns. Deer have antlers, and they battle for mates, and then they have babies in the spring. Pretty typical of American herbivores, and hoof stock in America. And like I said, pretty much the most simple, straightforward animal that I could put out a video on for the first video, maybe besides like a raccoon or a possum. Deer are, you know, something that everyone knows about and has seen, but it was still definitely pretty cool to be able to film these animals and be able to bring that to you guys on the channel. So that is all the footage of these deer, guys, and we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to do a little outro for the video, and that will be it. Alright guys, so as you can see there, we did see some white-tailed does. Unfortunately, we didn't see anything else besides a group or 2 groups of does, 6 does in total. And then at the end of the video there, obviously 3 of them came back, so we had a total of, I guess, 9 deer sightings, even though 3 of them were the same exact deer. So I would call that a successful trip looking for white-tailed deer and filming white-tailed deer. Didn't get as much footage as I'd hoped, but we still got some to work with for this video. And the only thing that I would say was a bummer on this one was that we didn't get to see any fawns, but some of those girls were definitely pregnant. At least 2 of those deer were 100% pregnant. You could tell by the sag in their bellies, which means that in the coming weeks I will be coming back here filming some more, and hopefully they will have those babies and we'll get to see some newborn baby fawns back here, and I'll hopefully be able to get some pictures and video of them out of the little blind that I built. And if I'm able to, I'll definitely post that footage here on the channel and all the photos over on my Instagram account. So that should be pretty cool. Going to be looking forward to that, and definitely going to be coming back here and trying to make some more videos over the next few weeks to actually get to see these newborn fawns. That'd be so amazing, see them out in the wild up close. Regardless, that is going to be all for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. First main episode, if you want to call it that, on the channel. Pretty exciting. I'm excited to do this, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So again, thank you all for watching. Please go ahead and share this video, like this video, and most importantly, subscribe so that you can be entered for the giveaway to swim with manatees down in Florida entirely for free. I'll pay for you to fly down to Florida. I will pay for your food, your hotel. I'll pay for everything. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. You'll be entered in the giveaway for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, swimming with manatees. Definitely subscribe if you are interested in being able to do that. So like I said, that is going to be it for this video, and I will see you all in the next one.